Are we actually?
I'm just going to keep smiling inanely till we get confirmation that we are. Hi, world. We're here. I've just realised how incredibly extra our shirts are when next to each other today. There's a lot going on.
Well, we don't
there.
have a green screen today, so... but mind you, there's not much green anyway, so we could have worn these.
There's little bits.
I'm still... we haven't started yet, by the way.
We always just
Here we go. So I got to watch an advert first, and then I'm going to find out how much of this inane chat has been going on on the actual show.
I'm going to really bash the heck out of the kitchen table to make you wobble as much as possible, and then I'm going to just go and close the kitchen door. Back in one moo.
I don't think you should have to watch adverts on your own channel.
Bold declaration there, Huey.
Right, we're on.
What are you, some kind of communist?
We're cooking. Let's start the show properly.
Shall we? Okay.
Yeah. Hello!
Hey there, hi there, ho there, Disney fans, and welcome to another Disneyland Paris Show. We do usually start with the bongs, but it's weird because we've no theme tune, so we're going to do that now. Bong!
Should we say where Chris is first?
We haven't started the show, really. We usually start with the news.
Let's do the news then. Headlines.
Bong!
That was the bong. Unexpected item in the bagging area.
Swelling with pride.
That's quite a concept.
Welcome to my candy store. Did you like my little musical theatre reference I got in there?
Yeah.
Go on, name that musical. You've seen it. Put the answers in the chat if you recognise that particular hook. Right, yeah, Chris has... already I'm getting distracted by the chat. Yes, Ed, this is a Snow White necklace. So that's
I think the musical was Heather's.
Oh, do you?
Just
well done.
Just because David said it first.
Without any help whatsoever.
Yeah, so Chris is... Chris and I have just been in a musical today, in a matinee performance. So, you know, Chris is tired, but also he's cricked his neck. So he's just resting. He had to do a show today with a cricked neck.
That's terrible.
And that's not good. You know, you don't have the complete freedom of movement. It's horrible.
It is.
So I hope he feels better soon.
And that's what triggers my vertigo, is when I've got a thing in my neck. That's just details. We're getting to know each other. I'll tell you things like this.
Yeah. Well, that's also why I look weird. I've dyed my hair for the show because I needed it to be a bit darker. It came out a chestnut colour by mistake, but you know, I got the roughly desired effect. Plus, I've had a shave, and when I'm in the show, I look like this, which no one wants to see. Listeners, that was me taking my glasses off, and some faces need glasses, and mine is one of them.
No, it's beautiful, your face.
It isn't.
It looks lovely on the radio. Right. Should we find out who's with us in the chat before we get bombarded?
Let's. All aboard, please. Bonnie was first in the chat because we told her we were about to schedule a live show, so she got there first. Is that fair? Maybe not.
That's like insider trading, isn't it?
It is. Joey was next and says, "So glad you're all back." Well, most of us. 2/3 of us. Question for you. If you had to pick a Disney film to turn into a West End show, which hasn't already been, which one would you pick?
Bonnie had a good answer for this.
Yeah?
I don't know if she's put it later on or if you want it now.
Don't show that.
Okay.
Lucy's going to show a photograph from the show, but it's a bit inappropriate.
No, there's a giant sausage. Yeah, okay.
Don't show that.
Okay, I won't. Bonnie's answer was Princess and the Frog.
We watched that today.
That would be why.
The music is so good. I hope we gave the music, like, 10s.
Yeah, I think I will have done.
I'll have to go back through my notes.
It's a while ago, isn't it? I can't believe
here we go. Music. There was a 10, a 10, and a 9.
Who gave the 9, do you know?
Could have been me, I don't know. Maybe there was a reason. We give it 29 out of 30, though.
Yeah. It's good. Sleeper
show.
hit. It took me years to get round to it. To simply watch it. I just didn't watch it for years. And then I was like, this is such a good movie. So that's Bonnie's outing.
I thought of Freaky Friday, but it is a musical. There is a stage version of it. So then I'm thinking, Yeah, apparently. And I've forgotten what my other answer was then.
I think it would be good if you found a live action film that wasn't a musical that could be turned into a musical, like the Mighty Ducks. Mighty Ducks the musical.
I had one.
That sounds good.
I forgot what it is.
As far as ones that are already musicals, I mean, I loved Tangled. I just love Tangled, but I think that's too modern. It just doesn't feel like clever to do it. You know, Hercules is coming to the West End next year.
Right? No, I didn't.
That might be what triggered this off.
What about, now that they own the franchise, A New Hope, the musical? That might be fun.
Ironic or sincere?
Bit of both.
Okay. Because I can imagine like the Team America version of that would be quite a hoot.
Sugar Sweet Samantha, aka Sugar Sweet Mama, says, hello everyone. We've got Maria. Hi. Nice question, Joey. I would love to see Tarzan as a musical. Imagine the songs.
Yes. And also, they used to do the Tarzan stage show at Disneyland Paris. Let's loop round to Disneyland Paris. But they did like all the percussive bits from the Trashing the Camp and did like a stomp thing with all the monkeys climbing up the walls. It was very spectacular. It really does lend itself to like circus skills and things.
Samantha says, great question, Joey. And Maria, I completely agree with you. I'm excited to see that there will be a Hercules musical coming next year. Ed says, what ho? David says, hi, first live show in ages. We've got Ruth and Lisa. John says, hey gang, had a stressful couple of weeks, so I'm in much need of some 37DS magic.
I hope we can provide.
Yeah, we don't have all the bells and whistles, but we're here.
We've got the whistles and bells, though.
Actually, yeah. Look how that worked out. Who else have we got in the chat? We've also got Whitney. Hi to Whitney. Wits Wanderlust. And Bonnie. Oh no, we've had the answer to that, haven't we? Princess and the Frog. Mm-hmm. Hannah is here. Whitney says, y'all look fancy. Hello also to Ruth and Ed says, no, we've done this as well. See, we jumped around in the chat before we started and now I keep repeating. Heathers. Pip says, 20 days till DLP. We're staying 2 nights at Santa Fe, followed by 3 nights at Disneyland Hotel.
Ooh, nice. And I approve of the split stay method there of getting the Disneyland Hotel in without doing the 5 days because good.
And that's probably the right way around to do it.
Yes.
Build up to it. You don't want, the drop in quality, do you?
And you'll be exhausted from the first 2 days in the park, and so then you'll want to spend a bit more time in the hotel on the last couple of days, and good.
Ryan says, 1 week closer to next year's dates being released. Woo!
That was Jeffrey the animator came along for that little
wee. Steve says, come on Hugh, let's have a glasses-free DLP show. Well, we could, but I wouldn't be able to read anything. Well, I'd have to hold my phone really close to my face. Hannah says, 82 days till DLP. And Fever Pitch Quartet. Hi both, hi everyone. We've got Andrew in the chat.
Fever Pitch Quartet is Bob's. Oh yeah, it says.
Goes and say, it's Bob S, by the way, on my other channel.
Very good. We've been to see Fever Pitch Quartet live and in the flesh.
I had a memory today, so it was about this time, was it 2 years ago we went?
Maybe 3, I don't know. I've got a picture and Bonnie seems small. But it's Bob Sangwell's Barbershop Quartet, and they do Barbershop Quartet competitions, and he was in our area. He was in Yorkshire. So we went to see the Barbershop Quartet competition, and by George, we had a good time, didn't we? Yeah. For like a week afterwards, you were going to start a Barbershop Quartet, and it was going to change the world.
We could never find a 4th member, though.
The bass. We never get a bass.
Yeah. David says, Hercules and Percy Jackson both coming to the West End. We could have an ancient Greece day.
Do you know, I assistant directed the UK premiere of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief at Leeds Conservatoire earlier this year, and we think that kind of, put it on the radar. I like to think so, anyway.
And we've also got Pauline, and I think that's everyone.
Yay!
Yeah.
Cuscotopia the musical.
Cuscotopia the musical.
I am so on board with anything Emperor's New Groove. I think it is an absolute, like, hidden gem.
Joey wants Aristocats to be made into a musical. Imagine everybody wants to be a cat with a live orchestra.
Interesting. Puppetry or human cats?
Yeah, Bob says he thinks it was 3 years ago. Wow.
I think so. Bonnie loves Percy Jackson, and Percy Jackson the musical in particular, so she's just gone.
It was a very COVID-y trip, I remember, actually. There were lots of rules when we went to see, so it must have been 3 years ago. Because 2 years ago, nobody cared. Thanks for coming, everybody. If I've missed anyone, I don't think I have. I'm sorry. Right. What's on the docket?
Well, I'm just going to mention before we carry on, because people said we look rather wonderful, which we do. We're beautiful humans. But this dress I actually bought in Disney World on my recent trip, so I just wanted to flag that. I've been to a party this afternoon. One of my lovely students is leaving, and so we went to her leavers do.
Is that the one I bought you?
Yeah, Huey bought me this for my birthday, because we went the day after my birthday, so I delayed my birthday present. It's actually an Encanto dress. So it's got the Encanto house, and it's also got like the pelicans and things. But we saw someone on the second to last day, didn't we, wearing the same dress?
Oh, man.
Go on, you tell it.
Well, we were sat outside the ice cream parlour at the end of Main Street in Disney World, and there was a lady on the next table. And as we sort of went to sit on, on the next outside table, I kind of went, oof, how embarrassing, wearing the same dress, and she just wasn't interested. But then her kids kept running up, and then we kept seeing her kids all throughout the trip, and they were going, you're wearing the same dress as my mom. And the mum just was not interested at all.
And every time we went to a new ride,
she had no sense of humour about it. And we saw them about 3 times.
Yeah, every time we went on a new ride, like, oh God, they're in the queue, they're there.
And then the kids kept running up. And hey, remember us? You're wearing the same dress as my mom. And then you look over and she's just...
It could have been a cute moment.
Wasn't. She just did not want to
It could have been me and her going, hey, you got good taste. Didn't happen.
It's probably one of those could be shy,
Yeah.
comes across as rude things.
Yeah.
That you've got to be careful about, because shyness and rudeness
Oh, I know.
appear exactly the same.
That's why I'm rude sometimes, because I'm...
Shy.
Yeah. I'm not even joking. You know that's true, don't
If
you?
I'm rude, I'm being rude.
Yeah. If I'm being rude, I'm
I
probably
can be
just a
shy, but socially I can convince myself not to be. So, yeah, if I'm rude, I'm being rude.
Own it, baby.
Yeah, man.
Own it. Right. Should we talk about some of this news then?
Some of this news.
Some of this news. Where to begin? Unexpected item in the bagging area. Right, we've got automatic checkouts coming to Hyperion, Cafe Hyperion. So these might be less like your bagging area checkouts and more like your touch screens at McDonald's, I think.
Dirty touch screens.
That you do with your knuckle, don't you?
Yeah.
Because of all the... Yeah. I like to just pack my immune system full of dirt.
Do it. Don't do it. You know what's been found on those screens, don't you? Poo!
That's found on everything, on all the door handles everywhere. There's poo everywhere.
Poo.
I hate to break it to you, but there's poo everywhere.
Poo and drugs. It's true.
Right, I hope someone just turned on the live stream right then, just as you...
I think we should title this Poo and Drugs.
Poo and drugs?
Yeah.
Poo with a H?
No, we'll get in trouble for that.
Okay. Oh, this is all fun. Right. Okay, so the Hyperion is going to test 5 touchscreen kiosks.
Good.
They're only testing them. They're only doing 5 to see if it works. Currently, the languages available are only French and English. It's card only, and currently there are no discounts. That's because they've been very clear that they're testing this system rather than just rolling it across the way. So there's some limitations. My question, first of all, brilliant, because I think the idea is that this kind of replaces mobile order, which is fine. We've all done the McDonald's thing where you do that and then stand back a bit, and it works very much the same as mobile order in a way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
My second question is, given that this system...
Your second question.
My second question is, given that this does exist in fast food establishments across the known universe, why Disneyland Paris is so incredibly tentative about testing it. You know, it's like, oh, let's see if this brand new idea works.
Yeah, what's to test?
I think they do all their own internal IT, whereas I'm presuming that stuff like this, when McDonald's do it, kind of gets franchised in. But yeah, bless them. They're always behind the curve, aren't they?
Like years behind.
But it's good news, and that's the right restaurant to do it in as well. The space.
Yeah, the one that's basically McDonald's anyway.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very, very McDonald's-y food.
I've got such like cozy thoughts of Hyperion, which is a weird thing because it's the opposite of a cozy restaurant. It's massive, it's cavernous, the food is very mediocre. But I don't know, I've just got really happy memories of sitting there with you and Bonnie just watching the screens.
Yeah, and a few people have said the same thing. Like, you know, you accept it for what it is, which is, you know, some cheapish burgers and things. But then you get to sit down.
You can usually almost always get a seat because it's massive. Yeah. Big air-conditioned thing.
I like it.
I do.
It's like a top 10 for me.
Yeah.
It's a top 10 restaurant at DLP, the Hyperion. Anyone who's going for the first time, you're in for a letdown if you go there going, well, Hugh on 37 Business Street said it was a top 10 restaurant. I'm like, this it?
It is what it is, man. But there's certain points in your holiday where you're just like, bad burger. That's what you love.
I want a wet burger. I want a flat, wet burger, please. Not one of the big fluffy dry ones.
And Mickey shorts and zero atmosphere, but somehow it all just comes together to create really happy memories.
Yeah.
Don't know why. Give us some love for the Hyperion in the chat if you like it. Or if you don't, if you hate it, tell us that too.
I'm going to make that Bad Burger Club t-shirt one day.
Right. Swelling with pride. So it is Pride Week at Disneyland Paris. As we have bemoaned before, they no longer do their ticketed event, which I just think is such a shame. Because of all the ticketed events they do, that one always looked amazing. Someone gave us a good reason why they don't do it anymore, and I can't remember what it was. Like a very specific reason. Anyway, it's escaped my mind. But that doesn't mean they're not celebrating Pride in Disneyland Paris. They are. So they've got the Fab Five and rainbow outfits. They've got them on the floats. And they've got them doing special meets and greets against rainbow backgrounds. And it's weird because it's quite subtle. You know, we used to, well, I mean, any time of the, anywhere you go at this time of year, you see it, seeing the rainbows everywhere. But they've done it kind of like the pastel-y rainbows that are just kind of hidden in the white fabric, kind of a bit shimmery. So they've been quite subtle about it, which I was going like, oh, you're doing it that way. Oh, I like it. And coloured spots on minis. They've also, and I mentioned this on the floats, didn't I? They also had a pre-parade with what was described as Disneyland Paris friends and cast members. I'm not sure exactly what qualified to be a friend. We know what qualifies to be a cast member, but to get included in that pre-parade. But it was about 50 or so people in white t-shirts with a little Rainbow Pride Disneyland Paris logo here. Again, surprisingly understated, I felt. But it looked, the faces I saw, the pictures of them walking that pre-parade, it just looked so incredibly joyous and inclusive and fun and wonderful. Thumbs up again to that. And then they had, well, this is, you know, again, it maybe could have pushed it a bit further, Disney. They had a rainbow tumbler.
Wow, what a celebration.
Limited edition rainbow tumbler that you could just get in some of the quick service things. And a rainbow eclair, which was an eclair with 5 different splodges of icing that were I don't know, red, yellow. You get the idea. Yeah, so I hope anyone who was there really enjoyed celebrating Pride at Disneyland Paris. And I think I'm always really proud that Disneyland Paris was the first worldwide park to really acknowledge it. I think there's something to be said about the culture in Central Europe where they were comfortable to do that. I feel this is dialed back almost to a mute, which is a little bit of a shame for me. I think they could, because I know that it's important to a lot of Disney fans. Yeah. However, they are acknowledging it and doing something, and the pre-parade looked great. So
they're doing the minimum.
Is that fair of us to say? I don't know. Maybe I missed some pictures somewhere. I just, you know. That is just my thoughts. Just my thoughts.
In the chat, this made me laugh. Where was it? Ruth said, no holiday is complete without a holiday nemesis, in reference to the lady wearing the same dress.
There was
Bonnie says, we saw those kids too much.
Yeah. There was one Florida nemesis. Well, nemesis, where some girls were being really, really loud on Pirates of the Caribbean. So Hugh turned around and told them off. And then they started being all teenagery and like, nah, at him. Instead of...
You're a fully grown man. You're a fully grown man. Because I went pure Larry David. Because they were making noise just for the sake of it. But for plausible deniability, they were saying, no, we were genuinely scared. We were scared. And I went, oh, you're so scared. Like...
Yeah. Instead of being the bigger man, he just went right down to their level.
Well, I did, because of that. Just before then, when I'd complained, one of them said, I said, you were scaring some of the kids on our boat because they were in front of us. And this girl was saying, that's not our problem. It's not our problem. And I thought, ooh, don't like this attitude. So then I got petty. I won, though. And then I felt bad, so I wore a disguise for the rest of the trip. I did. I put my sunglasses on, put a hat down, and took my lei off that I'd got from the resort.
Oh, dear.
And what else?
It's always a joy to go with you.
Ed loves the Hyperion. Steve says touchscreen ordering is simple and easy to use. Not sure why they need to test that. I know. There must be something.
I mean, it's basically...
Some other, like, maybe it's just the testing, how it works with the staff. Or
it's communicating with the kitchen, isn't it? But it's basically an iPad, let's be honest. I like, when I used to have the dancing school, which I no longer had, I had card payments set up on my iPad, and it's basically the same touchscreen system they use in McDonald's. And then contactless payment, it's odd. But it'll be communication with the kitchen, I presume, not the actual payment.
Yeah. Hello, Dunn family. How is everyone? 11 weeks till Walt Disney World. Your videos were great, Lucy.
Ooh, I have more.
I haven't touched mine yet because I'm still way too busy and I'm doing a show. So maybe next week I could start editing one, but it would still be at least 2 weeks before I got one of them out.
But that way, my big job finishes tomorrow. My big hard-working job finishes tomorrow. So maybe I can get another couple out just to plug the gap. And by the time I've exhausted mine, you can get yours out. Yeah, and I don't think there's anything too timely in mine. Like we rode Tron, but that's been open for a while now. And we were close to riding Tiana, but we missed it by a few days, so that doesn't matter. So I didn't really miss anything important. Penny says, hi guys, long time no see, as we've been doing other holidays, but planning Tokyo Disney for 2026. I was talking about Tokyo with a fellow Disney fan today at a aforementioned party.
I just want to go to Tokyo in general.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd only need a couple of days for Disney, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I think it's more Disneyland Paris than it is Disney World. Well, it definitely is.
Just going to Tokyo in general is more of a draw, I think.
I don't think just a couple though. I think 3 or 4 because it's... Well, I think so because of queues and doing things more than once and snacks and meals and then maybe 10 days in Tokyo.
Yeah. Samantha says, my claim to fame is being in the background of 2 of Sam for God's videos over the Pride weekend.
Hey!
2.
Well, tell me then. Who's saying that?
Samantha.
Sugar Sweet Samantha. Was there more than I'm mentioning? Because I did feel like when I was trying to research this, it was rather thin on the ground. Let me know what I've missed, please.
Dunn Family says, to Penny, we're off to all 3 parks in Asia in 2026. Planning is harder than DLP or Walt Disney World.
Yes, it will be. But gosh, there's that as an option. But no, you definitely want to do Tokyo, the city, don't you?
Yeah.
So if we're flying over there, you don't want to get a cheeky Shanghai in the go, do you?
Nah.
Or a cheeky Hong Kong?
I'd rather just focus on one, personally. And Kyoto.
Yeah, Kyoto's gorgeous.
Kyoto was brilliant when we went.
It was.
In 2007.
Yeah.
Chris is here and says, hi everyone, really sorry I'm missing. I'm just a bit broken this week.
Oh.
Yeah, we've explained Chris. He's literally broken.
It's like, I don't know if he's still on it, but do you remember Charlie off Casualty? Who never used to move his neck? And he used to be like...
Not
Oh.
not really.
Okay.
Well, I remember him, but I didn't know he had a stiff neck. Dunn Family says, I have 3 memory cards full from Paphos, including drone shots need to get put together. Yeah, it weighs on you when you've got holiday stuff that needs editing, but once you start...
It's an actual chore.
Samantha says, do you have a YouTube channel to the Dunn Family? I would love to see more of the Asia parks. Hannah is here. We went to Tokyo Disney last year. We had 3 days booked, but ended up going back for an additional half day before we went to the airport. Yeah. It's weird cramming in that, like, going to the park in the morning when you know you're flying that day. It's just an odd feeling, isn't it?
We always do it in Florida, though, don't we?
Yeah, and the last 2 times we've done Tiki Room as the last thing. But then we had an extra day because the flight got cancelled, so... we went to Epcot because we were saying, well, we'd done quite a lot of the Magic Kingdom, but then we were like, we kind of felt like we'd done with Animal Kingdom. We're like, Hollywood Studios again. Do we want to do that? And
I think we were only going in for 3 hours.
So because it wasn't mentioned, I was like, let's go to Epcot.
Because we were only going to have 3 hours. Hollywood Studios, it's hard to get, you know, your fun times in 3 hours because all the big hitters are big queues, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Epcot was good though. We did
Guardians.
And that was the very last thing we did.
Oh, and I hadn't done it earlier because I was feeling a bit seasick, as I sometimes do. But that day I was like, no, do you know what? Sorry, I'm going to take a pill. Back to the poo and drugs, aren't we? Take a pill, and I did, yeah. And I wouldn't have done it otherwise. And I was like, do you know what? That's really good.
Penny says, Tokyo Disney is really good value and looks incredible. You just need 4 days to do it properly. You need 4 days to do it properly. Theme Park Worldwide are just uploading some fantastic Asia Park vlogs. Is that them that we used to watch?
I don't think so.
What are they called? Theme Park?
The theme park. I don't know.
It's that there's a chap that's like the main guy. I like to do an impression of him because he manages to talk without a break, doesn't he? He says, oh, it's absolutely fantastic. We went there the other day and it was a really easy experience getting in, and then we got to the park about 10 o'clock and it was absolutely fantastic. And they got on the ride straight away. And I just don't know how his mind works like in advance of what he's saying so that he can just talk for like a minute solid without a break or a pause. Who is that? Steve
B's where I am. He says, we really want to do Tokyo Disney, but where do you start planning a trip like that? Honestly, I am a trip planner, but I feel a bit like that. I think it's mainly because I've only ever found places that price it up in yen. And so it becomes very like, oh, what am I paying for? What's this? What's that extra? So it's not like, you know, get a nice British website.
Samantha says it does sound like that guy's show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I'd like to watch those then.
It's absolutely fantastic. Elle says, late to the party, meant to watch live from the start. Well, think on, Elle.
You're fashionable. You're fashionable.
Think on. Yeah.
Right, Sugar Sweet Samantha said, was it the Pride any better than we said it was?
No, I don't think there's an answer to that.
Okay.
No.
Right.
And Elle's been watching your DCL vlogs. Would you go on one again?
Yes. Hugh is more circumspect. Hugh would, but he would want to go somewhere where you got off, and he's interested in what destinations we could go to. I was really happy with days at sea, and sometimes I look at itineraries and there's no days at sea, and I'm like, oh.
I like a day at sea.
Yeah.
But I like the mix.
The mix. I really want to go to Castaway Cay or Lookout Point or both. So I think that in our future there is a 3-day cruise tacked onto a Disney holiday, but it's not next year's, so I don't know when it'll be, unfortunately.
Yeah.
An absolute bucket list is an Alaska cruise, but then I say absolute bucket list is Tokyo Disney and Alani and California and all the rest of it. So I don't know where in that pile it is.
It's a big bucket list.
It is. It's a big bucket. Right. That's quite a concept was my next headline. And this is to do with more concept art, which is my favourite thing that Disney do for me for shows. So it's to do with the village, and it's the sports bar. And because we don't have our resident technician with us today. I'm going to have to do it the old school way, which is holding up an iPad. Wow. So this is concept art for the sports bar. It's getting a little bit of an upgrade. It's getting a new canopy put in, a little bit of greenery and a lighting package.
Okay. Let's have a look at that.
I'm actually surprised it is staying there as a sports bar. Obviously, it's not something, I say obviously, maybe it's not obvious to you, but we've never done it as a family. The idea of a sports bar doesn't appeal. We don't drink well, certainly not when we've got Bonnie with us, but we don't particularly drink much anyway. And we don't watch sports. So it's just kind of there.
We just watched the football.
We did just watch the
last
football.
half hour.
But I tell you why. Because we were driving home and we did a drive through McDonald's.
If you don't want to know the score, go away for 1 minute. Mute
for a minute because there's people.
Yeah, mute and I'll hold my hand up when you can come back.
There's people watching from other countries who might not know what a big deal on England match is. We were playing Slovakia, were we?
I think so.
We're not football fans, but we went to a drive through on the way home for the party, me and Bonnie, and it was absolutely dead. And then I was like, oh, I wonder if the football's still on. And when I checked my phone, I saw the score was 1-0 and with 4 minutes left. And then when we got home, it was 1-1. So somebody had scored in the last 4 minutes of the game, which meant it was going to extra time. So I was like, well, we've got to watch extra time then. And then we were rewarded 53 seconds into extra time with a goal.
Right. If you've muted...
So we watched football for 53 seconds.
You can come back.
It was good. So there you go. Anyway, you see, anybody who's in England already knows that story. I can guarantee it.
That bit that goes back behind the sports bar.
Yeah.
There's something a little bit...
grotty.
grubby about that area. But that's, why it's getting updated.
There was an arcade there, which is closed forever, I believe. That was amongst the announcements a couple of months ago. So the arcade's going. I can see why. Who's coming out of a theme park and then getting all the euros out to put into an arcade machine, There's a toilet area back there. But this looks better. It looks repaved. Well, it is repaved. It's got a bit of greenery going on.
Trying to picture it without the beautiful painted sunset they've put on it and those overhanging trees, which I don't think that tree in this corner... is there, is it? Like, how could that be there? Because that would mean there'd be a great big tree right in the middle of the footpath.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just, I don't know, it's just a bit...
This is
smoke and mirrors.
The inside.
Lucy, listeners, is holding up a picture of the inside. Does that help you, listeners?
Now, what about that looks Disney?
This is the ongoing thing at the moment. What's that place in Epcot called?
Communicore Hall.
Communicore Hall. And it just looks like a dinner hall.
Yeah.
Dining room. Dinner hall.
Yeah. A high school cafe.
But they might add to it for events, but the bare bones of it just looks... It's just so not Disney.
Of all places in Disneyland Paris, the sports bar is the place where I'm like, well, okay, you don't have to go full concept Disney in there. I understand who it's catering to and why. So I'm not too bothered about that. And it is nicer interior design than we've seen other places. There are shapes on the ceiling. Let's get that back up there.
There's shapes on the ceiling.
Shapes on the ceiling, designs on the walls. I mean, you don't always get that, let me tell you.
It's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right. Interestingly, they are going to merge with New York style sandwiches, which good because you see, I've been in there a few times. I remember going in there when I was on my own for Run Disney a couple of times. I think I've been to get something when whatever other people are eating doesn't appeal to me, and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to grab something from here. It's had a really limited menu. And it was basically a poor man's Earl of Sandwich, which is right across the road. So I don't think anyone will miss it. And it does say they're gonna have exciting new food and drinks offerings.
Exciting food.
So I don't know if that'll be bar snacks or above, but they're not going to be able to take reservations, so I can't see it being sit down. It's a thing. It's a thing. Good luck to them. We're not going to miss New York style sandwiches. It's serving the same purpose. It's having a bit of a refresh. Happy days.
Penny
We can't
says,
complain.
the sports bar is a great place to store dads and sons when you want to shop and don't want them to know how much you're spending. Yes, love you. Go and watch the football. I don't mind. Says Penny. I like the idea of storing your dads and sons in a room.
Do you know that episode of Friends when they're at Nana's funeral and they've got one of those big portable TVs and all the men are gathered around it? Again, that party I was at this afternoon, that exact thing happened halfway through the party.
In the bar after the show, Chris had his phone out with the football on it, and there's a handful of us gathered around. I was only vaguely watching it, though.
Fair dues. I do occasionally like a good England match, and that's how it goes. Every 4 years I might watch one match. Welcome to my candy store from Heather's. Just calling that out. So the Boardwalk Candy Palace, which is like on the right hand side as you walk towards the castle on Main Street. I believe it's the second shop in. Maybe the third. No, it's the second shop in. And it kind of fulfills the same space, but equivalent choices that the Main Street Bakery serves in Magic Kingdom. However, it's half the size and it's in a very strange position between two of the shops. The only reason we ever go in is to walk through it, because you can walk through that bank of shops, can't you? They've got a little service counter, which is often not open. And then they've got some shelves with bags of sweets on. So it's a bit of a dead space. To me. And it should be one of the best shops in the park, because we love a good novelty cake pop and fudge and all the different things, Rice Krispie treats. And it's somehow just not selling it really because of its location. Anyway, this is to close next week and then reopen in 2025. So it's going to be an extended refurbishment. The refurbishment will, this is Disney's words, preserve the original charm. I think they're just going, don't worry, it's not going to turn into a Tesco Metro.
Yeah, I don't think they can do the kind of things they're doing to the village and the resorts on Main Street, can they?
Never say never, Hugh.
They can't have the laminate flooring and the shapes on the ceiling.
We hope.
And the cheap chairs.
But they will be rearranging the space. These are things we know. They're going to rearrange the space. There's going to be new food and drink offerings. And also, they already partner with M&M's. But I believe that was mentioned in the press release, particularly as well, with our partner M&M. M&M? Oh, he'd be a good ambassador for Disneyland Paris, wouldn't he? The Boardwalk what am I on about? The Main Street Bakery. They've got that wall of M&M tubes, haven't they?
Have they?
A bit like you have in the M&M store.
Maybe, do I not pay attention when what am I doing when we're there?
I don't know what you're doing when you're there.
I don't remember there being those.
So I'm wondering if they're going to put those in. They look stunning. I can't imagine they make a lot of money is the thing. Because who's going to buy some specifically lime green M&Ms and nothing else? It's odd. Anyway, but I'm really hoping they can make this into a proper focal place where you beeline to get your nice sticky treats and things. Because maybe it's just that we haven't utilised it. Maybe you have. But I don't feel it's reaching its full potential.
M&Ms doesn't excite me. It just feels like an expensive way to have some M&Ms.
Yeah.
When you're in those big tubes.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get them printed and things, can't you? Yeah, but that's just a bit of a novelty, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like having your face put on a coffee.
Louise says, hi, made it to a live show. Woohoo!
Woo! Hi, Louise.
We love the cake pops. Hopefully they will be available somewhere else during the closure.
They are. I haven't written it down. It's one of the shops that has a French name. It's like Le Conte de Fées, something about fairies.
Le Shop.
The fairy shop. It's all their limited edition offerings are moving to the fairy shop. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're going in there and buying those cake pops then, because we do just kind of walk through that place traditionally, don't we? We do. You might not. You might love it.
A cake pop when I have some cake, I like a lot of it.
Mm.
And cake pops seem like kind of bun sized, maybe, are they?
There's also I've never bought one at Disney. I've had them elsewhere, but there's always something about they have to be a little bit drier than I like cake in order to hold the shape. To have that consistency. So I like quite moist cake. And also I always bite the stick. You don't want to be going, oh, lovely bit of chocolate cake. Oh, wood. Maybe I could plan my bites a bit better.
Does anyone get the dipped apples?
I like to look at dipped apples. I never buy them.
I just find there's something gross about the apples that they use for those, like for a toffee apple. You know, those like soft yellow green apples. Not for me. But I like a crunchy apple. In case you wanted to know, anyone. I like a Granny Smith to be like tough and bitter, or a Red Delicious.
This doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I like...
You like things like her to be unpleasant. It's like you're masochistic
hot
in
sauces,
every
bitterness, licorice, aniseed,
Yeah.
coconut, Turkish delight. I like all the dark chocolate. I like all the flavours that people go, oh, no, I don't like those ones. I seem to like those. And
I like flavours to like caress my tongue lovingly.
No, I like to have a battle with my food. I'll show you. No, joke's on you because I do like you. As it dribbles out the side of my mouth. Samantha says, I love the Mickey marshmallows and take it back to Sequoia Lodge Bar. Take it back to Sequoia Lodge Bar. Have a hot chocolate in front of the fire. Right. So she loves the marshmallows, takes them back to Sequoia Lodge Bar, and has a hot chocolate, enjoys it in front of the fire. This sounds good.
That sounds delicious. Hot chocolates in front of Sequoia Lodge fires are one of our favourite things as well, aren't they?
Yeah. Are they?
Well, we've done it and I enjoyed it.
We do like those things. Just trying to think when we've done that specifically.
They had a special version, a special hot chocolate for the Frozen Festival, and they put banana in it, and it was good.
Oh, yeah. Magical by Sarah is in the Jesus and says, yes, we love them. Watch your teeth, though. They're better sliced. What else? Andrew says, Beamish Museum near Newcastle does it really well. What's that? Candy Pops?
No, I think that's about a candy shop like Willy Wonka.
Ah, right. Yeah. Just a sweet shop in general.
I think it's like buy it by the pound. But as I remember from going to Beamish, I think it's like it's all kind of turn of the century stuff, isn't it? Or is it more like 1920s? But you buy bags by the pound in the in the market store.
Penny says, the pick and mix isn't any more interesting than what you get at the Cineworld, which is disappointing.
Yeah. Come on, Disney.
Louis says the cake pops are actually more like a brownie texture.
You had me at brownie.
Dense.
Yeah.
Like it dense.
I like it dense and moist. That's why I love this one.
Moving on. Steve says, dipped apples are not for us either. Royal Gala all the way, says John. Royal Gala. Which ones are those?
I like a pink lady.
Yeah.
This is good. Apple chat, people. Apple chat.
Someone says, sorry, I was typing fast, so it didn't make much sense today. I think you did, but thing is, like, because Chris and I are in this show, and Joe was saying this backstage, we can't talk in the real world at the moment. We can say all our lines on stage perfectly, and then when we get off, it's just like, hey, cheese is nice sometimes on a Friday, is it?
I don't have that excuse. I am just... Right, so that's all she wrote. What time is it looking like?
It's quarter past.
Did we have some questions thrown up from the...
I've got one, but then we can look at the Facebook group. Stephen said, hi guys, I finally booked to go to Disneyland Paris again. First time in 6 years. We're all excited. 3 families together, 4 kids, the rest adults. Quick question for you. I heard the only character breakfast there is now Princess. Is this true? Chris seems to have responded to this already. Says, hi, I'll read this on the show on Sunday, which I'm doing now, for others to contribute, but Plaza Gardens still do character breakfast as far as I'm aware.
Correct. There's also a there's the royal banquet at the Disneyland Hotel, but I believe that isn't breakfast. Now, this is what I haven't had a chance to look up. I was going to look it up before the show because you did mention this question. I haven't. So if anyone wants to correct me in the chat, do so. But my understanding is that they don't serve breakfast. So it is just Plaza Gardens and the Princess one. There you go.
Yeah, and Steve says, cool, thanks. We're staying in the Disney Hotel. I'll do a trip report and send it in.
Please do.
That'll be good. I'm going to look at the Facebook group. The Disneyland Paris Show, right? If you want to get involved on Facebook. Oh, look, there's us. Trude sent us a picture. Just watched all the new vlogs from Walt Disney World. In one, Lucy shows all her sun protection. This is a picture of me in Phantom Manor. How is this not a problem in sunny Florida? No UV lights there. Trude's sun protection just started glowing really white in Phantom Manor. Is it Phantom Manor? Yeah.
I'm presuming that was invisible to the naked eye, and then just going on the UV with the UV light sent it crazy. That's mental. That's absolutely mental.
Jenny was asking a poll question on the group there, the page. Which would you choose? It's my 40th next year and trying to work out what to do. These are the choices from hubby. 4 seasons in DLP. So that's 4 separate long weekends through the year. Or...
I married the wrong man.
Or 1 2-week trip to Walt Disney World. Never been. Likely Easter holidays. I mean, for me, it's always going to be Disney World, I'm afraid to say. 2 weeks as well, you know.
If you've never been,
yeah,
I think that. However, in our current position where we have been, for novelty, I think the 4 seasons is a lovely idea because you get 4 different experiences. Yeah, for you, I would say Disney World. For me, I would say the 4 seasons at Disneyland Paris. Any thoughts, people in the chat?
Andrew was asking a question on a poll as well. Is 4 days at DLP a luxury once-in-a-lifetime experience or a regular holiday? So join the group and see.
That depends how you do it. That really depends how you do it. I know the lady I work for, she was telling me that she took her sons when they were like 5 and 10, I think they were, and they stayed at the Disneyland Hotel as it was there, and she got a car to pick them up from the airport, and they didn't know where they were going, and they did this, and then she had a private, and she like absolutely laid it on, and that was Disneyland Paris, and that's a once in a lifetime thing because it was incredibly expensive. She'd put on all the bells and whistles, and it was just for that experience. The way we do it, it's a weekend away. When we're staying at Ibis Budget in Marne Valley and paying €3 to get on the train every day and using our annual passes, it's a weekend away basically. And I keep saying over and over again, these days, the transport's what kills us. We can manage most of the things on a reasonable budget, can't we?
Yeah. Trude is also asking, hi all, anyone pre-ordered food using click and collect? Is there an option to add notes to the order, e.g. if the kids want hot dogs without ketchup or mustard or only a plain burger, or will we need to order at the restaurant? Interesting. Cheryl says, have you tried to do it on the app? Now, does it show up? I've never done mobile ordering, sorry. Interesting. Can you personalise? I mean, you definitely can in Disney World. You can go into it and deselect all of the ingredients if you want. Just have 2 burger buns.
Yeah. But, somebody did that for an experiment, didn't they?
Maybe, yeah.
I think a vlogger did that. They were going to see, they did an experiment where they just customised it so they were just getting a dry bun.
Can you take the Coke out of your drink and just have the ice, but then pay for the price of a Coke?
Yeah, something like that. Here's the thing. This is brutal truth. You probably can, but at Disneyland Paris, their IT is not as streamlined as at other locations. And if you did have specific requests, I would be inclined to go to order in person. If you had an important request that was to do with an allergy, or your kiddo wasn't going to eat the burger if it had a gherkin on or whatever, I would do it in person, because they're not very accurate, are they? I don't know whether you can or not, but you know.
I bet you can. Bonnie says, sorry, I've been quiet. I'm colouring.
Oh.
Magical by Sarah says, does anyone know what time the characters do meet and greet in the morning in the Disney hotels, please? Or where I can find this information? And Samantha says, I think it was something like 8:30 till 10:30. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right, because we always go for extra magic hour, early magic hours when we can, which generally start at 8:30. And I remember looking and being a bit like, oh, so we're not going to see the characters then. But it is advertised in their meeting spot in the hotel. So when you check in or arrive or whatever, it'll say there. They don't, and sometimes they spring up as well. Like in the afternoon, they might have a random character just pop around. But that morning slot tends to be advertised.
I think that's all for the questions and things. Has anyone got any questions to ask?
I've got a question for the group.
Yes.
Just a general, like, talking point, really. But Bonnie is mad on pandas at the moment. She's in the chat. She'll be there going, yes, I am. We love to watch videos of pandas. She's just crazy for pandas. So I looked up which zoos had pandas. There's none in the UK. However, there is a really good looking zoo in Belgium that has a panda. And I worked out the distance from Calais to the zoo and the distance from the zoo to Disneyland Paris. And we really wouldn't lose much by going to this zoo. So I think next time we go to Disneyland Paris, we're going to go visit some pandas. That would be fun. But it got me to thinking, what other experiences do you like to couple with your Disneyland Paris trip? Or would you like to in the future, or have you thought of what's convenient in the area? And this might be good for other people. Now, one thing that we've been saying we'll do ever since we first drove is to drive back to the port. We go past Park Asterix, don't we? And we've kept saying next time we drive, we're going to detour that on the way home and spend a day at Park Asterix.
Or just, a few hours.
I don't know how good it is. I need to look in it, really.
Yeah. I bet theme parks worldwide have done a video.
I bet they have.
Yeah.
I know that this isn't near enough to Disneyland Paris for it to be a swing by, but I had a friend who went to Efteling. I was looking on their Instagram, and they had loads of pictures of themselves at Efteling last week. And I thought, oh, it does look good. Because I don't like theme parks. I like Disney. So I've always been a bit meh. But that looks like a Disney level theme park. So that might be worth looking at.
That's the thing, there's nothing of that level in the UK. Our best one is probably Alton Towers, isn't it?
We went to Legoland. We were not impressed, were we?
It was okay. We had a nice time, but it was rough around the edges. Yeah. Samantha loves pandas too. We went to Scotland to see them while they were there. Unfortunately, there was a freak snowstorm, so I got to see the back of a panda.
Sugar Sweet Samantha, they transported them back to China in December. I was researching this like 2 nights away and nights ago. Where can I find them? And I was like, gutted. We would totally have. I would have driven to Edinburgh next week. I would have been like, Bonnie, get in the car. We're going to go see pandas. But they've flown them back to China, which is devastating.
Go to China.
Let's do that.
Louise was asking about your Encanto top. Where exactly was it from? We said earlier it's from Disney World, but...
We got it at Trendy in the Marketplace Co-op.
In Disney Springs.
Yeah, but then we did see it a couple of other places, not loads, but I think we saw it in the Animal Kingdom shop.
Is it on Shop Disney? Would it be there?
It might be. I don't know.
I'm going to have a look.
I don't know. We prefer to pay mobile order, don't we?
Yeah.
For various reasons. And I remember buying this in a real shop and then seeing it in a mobile order shop, and I think it was in the Animal Kingdom one. But I've seen it in a few.
I'm not seeing it. Oh,
there it is.
There we go.
Might be on the American one though.
It is.
It is on the American one.
Encanto Dress for Women.
They also do Mummy and Me collections. There's actually a child's version. It's not exactly like this, but it's in the same fabric. So you can have you and your little girl can wear the same dress.
I don't think the UK would say Encanto Dress for Women. I think it would just say Encanto Dress.
Oh.
Do you agree?
I don't know.
It just seems a bit like prescriptive, and you know, they're moving away from saying like girls' clothes, boys' clothes, because you know you can work it out by looking at them if you want them or not.
Okay.
So it doesn't need to say girls or boys, does it anymore? It's just an observation. But I'm not seeing Encanto dress
on the
on the UK
one.
one. I'll just look for Encanto dress. I was looking for Encanto dress for women. That's why. Which will prove my point if it turns up under just Encanto dress. No, it's not there. But anyway, if you really wanted it, you could get it from America. I'm sure.
It's just a really good reason to go to Disney World.
Just for that dress.
I would, honestly. So has anyone been to anywhere good? Are we back in the chat yet? Anywhere? Where do you like to go?
Kerry says Universal is now looking like it's a definite.
In Bedford? That should be good.
Was it Universal?
Yes.
But it was going to be 3 properties that I really wasn't fussed about, which
Bond.
was James Bond, Paddington, and was it Lord of the Rings?
Oh, it might have been.
Which I'm more interested in.
Well, that could... Thing is, I don't need to be interested in the franchise itself because I don't give a tiny rat's bottom about Pandora. However, I love that area of Animal Kingdom. So Lord of the Rings, not my franchise. I think a theme park of Lord of the Rings would be amazing.
Yeah.
James Bond. I like James Bond movies. I really do. But I can't see what that would get for me, really.
A display of some cars and some gadgets.
And a roller coaster.
Some kind of ride.
They would theme a roller coaster to it. And I'm always like, you know.
But Paddington, like, how much can you do? We haven't seen the Paddington films yet.
No, and they've actually got really good reviews because of Hugh Grant, haven't they?
Well, just in general, they're supposed to be really good, and we just haven't got around to it. We will do. Paddington, I can't imagine what a Paddington park would be.
I think I can imagine there's going to be a lot of people, particularly who come from outside Europe, who are going to double bill Universal and Disneyland Paris then via the tunnel. I bet that'll put the tunnel price up, you know. Honestly. Ugh.
Samantha says, my friend told me there are pandas in the Copenhagen Zoo and you can sit in the restaurant and watch them. Ed says, I have a question. In DLP, there's a big space next to Indiana Jones. What attraction would people like to see Disney put there? So it would be Adventureland themed.
Yes, a lot of people have said...
Encanto House. I mean, I'm not bothered about Encanto, but that might seem like
historically,
an obvious one.
I've heard a lot of people over the last, 10 years or whatever, 20 years, say Jungle Cruise. And I think that might have been half kind of put there as an idea for an expansion when they first built the park. I'm not sure it would work linguistically in Disneyland Paris.
Very pun heavy in a place where there's
multiple languages.
Yeah.
Now I know that they're catering for multiple languages in Walt Disney World, but they're not. They're catering in a country where English is the first language, and everyone else just has to make do, don't they?
Yeah.
Whereas Disneyland Paris is trying to cater for German, Spanish, Italian, and English.
Maybe you could just do it with headsets.
Yeah.
Just put some earphones in and tune it in. Click, click, click.
Yeah, but it's
Spanish,
all about the skipper, isn't it? I don't know. I don't see it. Likewise, people wanted Splash Mountain, which is now Tiana's Bayou, but it's the problem with having a water ride in a very cold climate that won't happen. So let's get rid of both those. I'm still desperate to see an Encanto version of the Mystic Manor from Shanghai. So use that technology, do it Encanto. That's my wish list. Does that fit in Adventureland?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Vicky says, we have paired a trip to DLP with the west coast of France, splitting the journey with Loire Castle. I don't know.
I've been to Loire Castle.
Last time we went to Cheverny, which has a fun Tintin connection. Cheverny,
I think, yeah. Oh.
I like Tintin.
I'm working on a project at the moment that has necessitated forensic research into D-Day and the Normandy landings, and it is making me want to visit the Normandy coast a bit, but it also might be a bit grim, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, is this something I want to bathe my brain in? I've already done that a bit much.
Yeah.
Mm.
Kerry says about Universal, I take it, it's going to be themed around movies, video games and stories. I think it will be another epic universe. So monsters, Harry Potter, Super Mario and How to Train Your Dragon.
Again, like, I could say I'm ambivalent to How to Train Your Dragon, but I think it would be a good theme park area. You know, Viking-esque. I think Vikings in the UK is a good connection. Maybe not Bedford, I don't know. But certainly in West Yorkshire, we're all Vikings around here, aren't we?
Yeah.
If you get me.
John wants Soaring. Soaring, please. I think that would be a good fit, and it's a ride type that DLP doesn't have. Yeah.
As Trebia.
Yeah.
It's my favourite Epcot ride, and you wouldn't let me ride it on the last day, but you were right, because we were clock watching, and I think we would have.
We didn't have time.
We would have come unstuck, wouldn't we?
No time, yeah.
And I was going, oh, it's only 15
I said as
minutes.
because our virtual queue for Guardians on the last day was a little later than I was comfortable with, because you get your your virtual queue time, but it's still it can be like half an hour queuing inside, maybe 25 minutes something. I was getting a bit nervous. And I said before I went in, I said, I'm warning you, when we get off that ride, it's straight out of the park, no stopping, straight on a bus, straight back, and then we need to get going to this for this plane.
And he's so incredibly like Sergeant Major when it comes to that.
One of you has to be on a trip, otherwise you end up going, oh no, we missed the boat or whatever. One of you has to be like that, and it's not a fun thing to do. And often you're the one that's marching ahead and keep looking around and like, where are they now? Hurry up.
I'm glad we have you, because then I don't have to be like that. I can just be a little bit flighty.
We've got to go now. We don't have to, but we should do, because we've got work to do. But what we got a last couple of things?
Well, just one more thing, because this just popped into my head as we were talking about that. And I want to ask advice from the people in the chat, because you're my friends, you tell me things. We got a 24-hour cancellation from Aer Lingus. 24 hours, 3 people, which means we had paid for 3 seats. And we got, as a family, £100 compensation. Does that seem
fob
right?
Off. That is a fob off, isn't
What do we do about it? Because that's for food and accommodation, and extra parking at the airport and all that kind of thing for 3 people. It's not even, doesn't even divide by 3, as Hugh pointed out, but it's like £33 each. Does that seem right to you?
No.
The answer is no.
I want to know what they give everyone who, because we pay. It says on the website, or arrange it yourself, and then we can reimburse you some of that later. But I wonder what they gave to the people who queued up, because we should at least get what they got. Because
they got like vouchers and stuff like that. But my question now is, what do we do about this? Do we just because they just said, I itemised this out a bin, sent some receipts off, thought we'd just get our receipts paid, our expenses, and they just went, your compensation is capped at £100. It is now on its way to your bank. So we didn't even get a back and forth there. That just sent me straight to it. What do I do? What do we do about this? Tell us, friends, please. Fellow travellers. You are all travellers.
Should be 1,500.
I think so.
Travel insurance rather than lingual.
Maybe we should contact the travel insurance.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of admin, isn't it? Hey. John says, can we have Soaring? You've done that one, sorry. Pip says, the Normandy coast is very emotional, but an absolute must-see. Ed says, Jungle Cruise style ride themed to the Lion King. No need for a skipper. Follows the story of the film through scenes and animatronics. Kind of like just a water dark ride. I'm all for that.
Always. Preferably indoors, because it's Paris. Play your face.
£33 for 3 people to find a room somewhere for the night and get food is nowhere near enough.
Just saying. Just saying.
It really is a fob off, is that? And when they say it's capped at £100, no, it isn't. It isn't. They just want people to go away. Sarah says, as mentioned, my friend, was on the same flight and she got way more than that. I'd contact the insurance too. Yeah, same flight. That's funny, that, isn't it?
Yeah. She got accommodation, transport, meal on the evening, breakfast and lunch, plus transport back to the airport and loss of earnings. What? You know?
Yeah. On that happy note, it's time to go.
I'm leaving you with this face, this indignant face.
Look at that. I wish I could zoom in on it. Let's zoom in on it. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. We'll be back next week. Chris should be here, hopefully, if he's feeling better and his neck's better. And Lucy will hopefully look a bit happier.
You can't do that.
So you can turn it off with your nose.
Can I?
Yeah. It's up in their corner. Bye, everybody.